Hello friends, welcome to our 6th chapter of Architectural Visualization course. I am Oz. In today's lesson, I will be mentioning the highlights of my environment design process. Doing so, you will get to understand the methods and tricks I am using to create our environment. I will not be designing the interior of our house, but I will be trying to show you the techniques instead. Let's get started. We can start from where we left off, which is adding Quixel 3D objects to our scene. We open up Quixel Bridge. We have two locations to find our desired 3D objects. We can search them by name, or go under Collections category and find what we need. I am choosing a few of the rock objects to enhance our exterior environment. Higher quality is good for getting better quality on close-up shots. But here, we won't be capturing any close shots for the rocks. For that, I add them as medium quality. After adding them to Content Browser, we can drag Static Mesh Actor to the scene. Adding Quixel objects usually comes with Nanite support turned off. To change this, you may right-click on the object and tick the Nanite support. When you drag these objects, sometimes these ugly shadows appear. If you remember, I mentioned this in the previous chapters. It is caused by ray tracing being not calculated well. Now, we will learn a different approach to minimize this issue. Open the 3D object by double-clicking. Under Nanite settings, we change fallback target from auto to relative error. Then, change fallback relative error value to 0 and apply the changes. This should help it. You can always fix this issue by enabling Nanite support, but if you use this asset, let's say about 1000 times, it will be heavy for your computer to handle. If you are planning to use only one of these objects and get the best quality of it for a close-up shot maybe, you can turn it off. Instead of dragging our object and positioning it every time in the scene, we can use foliage mode to add them fast and variously. To do that, let's go to foliage mode and drag our 3D object inside. Turn off all other assets by selecting them with Ctrl A and unticking any of them. Then, tick our desired object and change the parameters as you would like them to vary. Then, select the tool how you would like to place the object and place it. Now let's go back interior of our building. You might have noticed, we do not have any doors inside. It is time we build them. I will be adding a door mesh inside our course assets folder. For interior doors, we will be using this 3D object. Under imported folder, let's create another folder and name it door. Open the assets folder and drag the 3D object and texture inside. We have to change some values here due to doors export settings are not 100% compatible with Unreal. Change first offset rotation value to 90 and uniform scale value to 2. Please note that we have to uncheck Combine Meshes selection so our parts can be imported separately. Drag them into our scene to check if the scale and rotation values are right. Once you set it right, we can create the material by right-clicking on the texture and selecting Create Material. We can see it by dragging the material onto our object. You are free to play with materials values, but I found it suitable. We set the default materials by opening the static mesh actors and assigning the material on our door panel and sheet. For handle, we can use one of the basic colors we have created in last chapters, then save them all with Ctrl-Shift+S. Now, of course, we won't be adding these parts separately every time inside our scene. Instead, we will create a new static actor blueprint. In future chapters, we will adjust this blueprint for playable level 2. But for now, our intention is to create a basic ArchViz cinematic. Let's create a new blueprint by right-clicking and selecting Blueprint and then selecting the actor. Let's name our blueprint Door Actor and open it. We will drag our static meshes under default scene root. As you can see, we have only one door handle. To duplicate it, we simply create a copy by Ctrl-C and Ctrl-V. Then, select one of the copies, go to Details panel and change its dimension scale to -1. This will mirror it on the other side. After you do this, drag our blueprint to the scene. Our door will come in one component. By changing this blueprint scale, location, rotation values, you can affect the whole component easily. Seems like our door is a little bit smaller than our door opening. Let's place the door and scale it a little bit until it fits right. Now, we use this blueprint to fill all the door openings in our interior space. It's starting to look okay. But if we try to rotate to open our hinge door, you will notice that it is not acting as it should be. This is because when object values like rotation and scale are adjusted, programs grab a reference point to apply the effect. This reference point is called pivot point in Unreal Engine. With modeling mode, we are able to edit this pivot point inside Unreal. To edit it, basically, drag the object you want to edit inside somewhere in our scene. In this case, we want our door sheet. Open modeling mode while this object is selected, go to Xform and then edit pivot. From here, we can change our pivot point anywhere we like. After changing it, click on Accept and open the blueprint again. You will see that our door sheet location has been moved. This is because location is actually our pivot point's location. Let's adjust it to where we want it to be. After adjusting, now we can make parenting to the handles. Without parenting, the handles will stay in the same place while our door sheet is being opened. To make handles move with door sheet, we have to make our sheet parent of our handles. Parenting is basically when the parent object values are changed, parent's pivot point is taken to change children objects as well. To make a parent object, you simply select the children objects and drag them onto the object you want to make a parent of. It is that easy. Inside our house, let's add a few furnitures to fill it. I imported and created the blueprint objects as the same as door blueprint. You can control each part easily to blend together and come with a unique furniture set. I also downloaded a white furniture fabric from Quixelbridge and assigned its instances to my furnitures. I would like to use white color to dominate the space because I am such a Mediterranean person. Maybe you will do a mountain view. If you do create something like that, please make sure to post it to me on Discord server too. I'm eager to see what you can do with these knowledges. Now let's mention about decals. Decals are used for adding new textures over surfaces. This way we can add new textures over materials without making any changes inside material blueprints. I usually use these decals to add sprays, dirt, leakages, manholes, asphalt cracks, etc. When you feel the surface needs more detail, I suggest you to check decals. When I look at the scene, I believe there are some details missing. To fill the scene, I believe we can add a little port for 2 boats. To obtain the boat, let's check CG Trader. I found this yacht model and downloaded it. I will be also adding this to course assets, so don't worry, you won't have to download it again. Now, let's return to Unreal. We need a platform to access our boats. If you are one of my type, you might not want to model it from scratch. Let's go to Starter Contents Architecture folder and find what we need there. By dragging the objects, let's try to achieve our desired look. Then, add some pillars below and assign this gray stone material to them. It looks well, but we didn't import the yacht yet. Let's import our yacht model inside our imported folder, then drag it into our scene. People won't be just jumping down over the boat. We can create a staircase in the same way or adjust the height of our platform. I choose to lower the platform and scale it a little bit smaller so it fits better. We need 2 models of yacht. Let's duplicate it by holding Alt and dragging. Now these boats need to be different colors. You may assign the colors as you like from basic materials, or you may wait for automotive materials to be imported then assign them later. I feel something is missing for our port, and it is the path that would lead to our house. We don't want people to walk over this grassland every time they want to go to the port. So let's make a path. To create it, we can use BP spline along mesh blueprint here again. I believe we can create a path from stones. Grass can grow between each tile. I believe this will fit our environment. I have prepared a new 3D model we can use here with the blueprint. Import yard path stone object to content browser and assign the same material of the platform. To set our path spline, we can set foliage actor invisible for now. Adjust the spline leading to our garden door and drag our object to see the result. You can change the distance between objects inside Details panel. Something close to 50 looks fitting. When we are finished, we can make the foliage visible again and erase the objects in the path. But we are wanting some grass to grow between them, right? To do that, we will paint ribbon grass between the tiles by hand. It is the best way to do it in my opinion. There can be other ways like procedural generation, but they are more advanced techs. And to be honest, they are added recently to the engine. For that reason, I do not consider myself professional using them yet. When we are done with it, it should look like this. It gave our scene more life, didn't it? When we look at the distant sea, it looks endless. But I want some lands or islands to be seen there. Most of our house's values comes from the view. Not just for this course, it is a universal thing. Let's add some islands in distance. We will use some Megascan rugs here. Let's go back inside the Quixel bridge and search what we can use there. I found this mossy rock face suitable for this purpose. Download it and add it to our content browser. After then, drag it in some distance. The trick here is we will play with its scale values. By scaling it bigger and duplicating a few of them to blend each other, we shall have different kinds of lands to fulfill the view. This is the most basic method I use to create distant views. I also use a software called Gaia to create landscapes, which is free, or might check Unreal Marketplace to find ready static mesh landscapes. Now it is time for cars. I believe this can be the most frustrating part, so I will be making it easier for you to adapt. I will explain all the way, but you will be responsible for the last part of this process. Usually, I find my cars online on sites like CG Trader or Sketchfab. CG Trader has better choices for free, so we will stick with it now. You may search for car and choose any model you like. After downloading the object, there are some adjustments needs to be done in other softwares like Blender. When we import the model, we see that the model is complicated. We need the models prepared in 9 parts for Unreal Engine. The parts are main shape of the car, wheels and brakes for each wheel. The reason for this is they will be parented to each other. As less as we can have these objects is better. I had a prepared model which was Audi model R8. You may import this inside a new folder. This time we need some quality materials made for vehicles. To acquire it, go to Unreal Engine Marketplace and search for automotive materials. This is completely free again and top quality. Click Add to Project and under Select Version, select the one closest to your version. Mine is 5.1 at the moment. Now it is added to our content browser. Open each static object to add default materials. Here you can see the slot names of each material. Find it inside Automotive Materials and assign them. You can change some of them if you would like to. It is all under your control. You might want to change element 12 and 13 materials to clear glass material. That's because stopped car lamps would basically not be working. If you make an animation, we will change it later. After we are done with materials, let's create a new blueprint actor. Drag our objects inside blueprint. Set wheel locations to their right places. Make sure the wheels which should be parallel to each other are on the same value on that dimension. For example, right side wheels should be on 78 to be in order. Then, bring the brakes to right places. When we are complete carrying the objects, we can start parenting the objects. Parent wheels to the main shape of the car and brakes to wheels. The only problem here is brakes will rotate with wheels. We can change this by unparenting or assigning each part to a skeleton. These are more advanced techniques. You might find these skeletal rigs inside Marketplace to purchase if you are interested. When complete parenting, we can compile and close the blueprint. Drag our blueprint to our scene. Now we can see our car in one component. Seems like I have made a little mistake while putting the garage gates. They are smaller than I thought. I will put our car outside. This is a big car anyways. Now, our vehicle is also ready. Before we end this chapter, I would like to mention some of my favorite assets inside Marketplace. The first one is called Ultra Dynamic Sky from Everett Gunter. This asset comes with two blueprints. First one allows you to control the sky, like you can change the fog, clouds in a very detailed manner, and the second one lets you control the weather. With it, you can make it snow, rain, and even thunderstorm. This blueprint also affects other assets like making them wet easily. The second asset is called Easy Fog by William Faucher. William Faucher is a content creator for Unreal Engine and always seeking realism in his works. You may check his YouTube channel. This blueprint lets you add distant fogs very easily to achieve a cinematic look. And the third one is called Ocean System for Rendered Cinematics from Blu-ray Addict. You can use this very high quality water blueprint to capture sea shots. In our outro cinematic, I am showing you what I added to our scene using these methods so you can experience them in one breath. Our environment design process was like this. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me on the Discord server. I will try to answer all the questions as much as I am available. I wish you all happy and healthy days.